This is a digest from General Seminar Season 5, Episode 1, where we went into a future in which AI is normal, ordinary, and everyday, about as exciting and fascinating as wheels on luggage or electronic mail. And we go into these futures as a way of sense making, as a way of making sense of the not true yet. The not true yet, but possibly just around the corner. Now, when I hear most discussions of AI, which everyone is going bonkers about, they oftentimes start with vague pronouncements. It's going to change the future of work. It'll change the way we get information. It'll change mobility forever. And, that barely means anything to me. In fact, when I hear these vague statements, I immediately wonder, does anyone have any idea about the worlds we are creating with this stuff? I mean, like in a tangible way? If work is going to change, can you tell me what a help wanted advertisement might look and read like? What are the trades? Where did I learn that trade? What makes one trade more highly valued than another trade? In other words, in an AI future, I want to know what everyday life might feel like. Show me the artifacts an archaeologist might find as they attempt to make sense of their past, which is our future. This is what we use design fiction for, the creation of material cultural artifacts, like a classified ad for some possible job in some possible future, for worlds we imagine we might inhabit or worlds we would prefer to inhabit. And we do this because if we don't activate our imagination to build worlds we want to inhabit, we'll end up inhabiting worlds that the big dreamers with the big expansive imaginations build. And there will be again, living in someone else's dream. So if you haven't already, pick up a copy of the Manual of Design Fiction and the follow-on book I just wrote, It's Time to Imagine Harder, which right now are still on sale as a 2 for set at shop.newfuturelaboratory.com. So this is going to be slightly condensed. It's really hard to condense it because there's so much good stuff. It's like, I don't want to leave anything on the editing room floor. So we'll just listen back to what they said, and I'll give you a little bit of a brief of some of the discussion and a little bit of context. Okay, enough of that. Let's get on with this session of General Seminar Season 5, Episode 1. This first group was looking at education and personalized AI, and they sort of introduced this concept of individual AI models. So rather than there just being 3 or 4 large models, like there are, 3 or 4, or maybe 10 large operating systems, we would all have our own individual AI model or large language model. Let's have a listen.
Well, the first thing we thought of would be interesting to go take a look at a classroom and what the students look like and how people are learning. The kind of topic that we started going down is, okay, what if every student had like this pair AI model that they had kind of grown up with from a baby, and that AI has essentially like learnt its world based off of your lived experience instead of there being like, one, two, or three big large language models that we leverage in the world. There was, 8 billion of them, and everyone had their own one that had, I guess, like had access to learning based off of your uh, lived experience. And
But I think one of the ideas that I kind of landed on, which is like the future of drive-through. So, and it starts out with just kind of like, I used to live in New York and nothing was drive-through, and I moved to Texas and everything is drive-through. So it kind of spawned out like, hey, what would this future look like if like AI was installed in like all these different places? So one of the first places was the H&R Block situation, but I think the one that I kind of got interested in more was like the car wash, like what can go right or wrong in the car wash with like AI. So imagine like you're pulling your car through the car wash, and you have to do all the normal things like put your car in neutral and turn your windshield wipers off and stuff like that. But what if there was a sign that said like, here's all the things that you need to do like inside your car? Because in a world of AI, it's like you're not even going to get your outside car washed, but you actually get your computer car washed inside your car. Like it would clean out maybe all of your songs that you might have on your dashboard there, your actual computer that you have in your car that runs all the systems, because sometimes it can go all crazy. Maybe it does like a clean there or like a virus check. So it essentially just goes in and like physically and digitally washes your car. One I like that Dre was talking about, like one, maybe you should put your car in like safe mode, right? Like, when you go on the airplane, you put your phone on in like airplane mode, maybe you have like a safe mode for your car. So it doesn't kind of like go crazy or go on the fritz, right?
For me, I was talking about I just gone on to a run right before this call. And Jay came up with this idea of being guided by like an AI assistant or something in your AirPods that would essentially put you on paths while you're running and exploring that would, take you somewhere new and, have you explore different places or maybe pace or train you based off of your goals or really adapt to adapt you and where you're going to a specific set of criteria that you might not be fully aware of, but the AI is doing a great job of indexing and planning for you.
Imagination is humankind's evolutionary advantage, and the New Future Laboratory's Workkit of Design Fiction helps unlock your inner creativity. This third edition of the New Future Laboratory Workkit of Design Fiction consists of over 100 algorithmically augmented and illuminated inspiration cards that you play like a famous Mad Libs game. Filled with a zillion combinations that inspire creative thinking that reveals possible future products, services, and user experience scenarios from all the possible futures. Available exclusively over at shop.nearfuturelaboratory.com, your one-stop shop for artifacts of possible futures. That's shop.nearfuturelaboratory.com. Also available in the big box of design fiction. 20% discount when you buy everything all together all at once. That's shop.nearfuturelaboratory.com. See ya!
This next group found themselves at a car wash, of all things, and started looking around a car wash and noticed that there were these kind of classified ads, those ads that have people put up sort of handwritten with little flags at the bottom of it. So this was really fascinating, what they imagined that might be in some future.
We talked about like this genre, this artifact that you see, which is the photocopied flyer. And Arnaud, I saw when you started talking about this and showed your artifact, I was like, okay, we're on the same vibe here. But this artifact of the flyer with like the image, the top text, bottom text, and then the phone numbers that you pull off, to contact the person with the service. So we started thinking like, okay, so there's an artifact, and then what is the service that somebody in this future where there are domestic robots and robots that help us with, any type of task. There's AI agents in our home, AI agents in our workplaces. What would that service be? And how would people interact with that artifact?
The service was I started writing the job, house cleaner available, robot service manager, history working with in-house robots, smart refrigerators, and reprogramming smart appliances and networked appliances, can optimize your refrigerator and have developed a deep clean hack for smart refrigerators. So that's one gig. Few other things on an RFD tag.
Well, I showed you like our prototype, our quick prototype. It comes in packs, and it might have like an e thing, so it'd have the label on the tab, and you just pull off whatever looks good to you, and put it on your Rabbit, and then that sort of connects you to the person that is offering the service. I think one of the conversations that we had about hiring a house cleaner is interesting because the house cleaner ends up really being a robot wrangler, and they come in their old pickup truck like a maintenance person, but then they have like a cart full of little specialized robots to clean the carpet, but also the tub and the refrigerator. The guy's a specialty, or the person's a specialty in modifying robots, and they've made one for cleaning the refrigerator, and it's the special service that this person has. So
But it's interesting that you bring up unionization. My child, who is now 18, when she was 3, she was really concerned about robot rights. So I think there is an actual job that's going to appear, if not from AI lawyers themselves, because that is already a thing, right? That people are trying to leverage AI to be lawyers. But what are the rights of the robot? Because in many ways, we're looking at perpetual servitude. And if they have onboard AIs, that will not be possible. So it was really fun to be, as Michael put it, in that interstitial space and really thinking about gesture. And there's already so many, the components are there already to make it happen. But that the flyer comes back in a vicious way, because I think we're the third group that mentioned the flyer, right?
So yeah.
And so I'm like 100% not surprised that someone went down the autonomous vehicle route, and is super curious to see what they came up with. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, so we're bringing back a car. We just extrapolated from like what happens if self-driving, becomes a thing we didn't expect, and then it becomes like a personal habitation and transport space. And if you can sleep in your car, you don't have to worry about the commute. If you've got a 3-hour commute and you need to be at work at 9 and you're still asleep at 5, the car can drive itself and you to work. And while you're at work, your car can be out running errands and buying lunch and doing all that sort of stuff, and then bring it back to you, and it would be plugged into your schedule.
So this last group got into a really interesting discussion about kind of the natural world, whatever that means, and governance. So they were speculating about a way in which AI might represent natural entities like forests or different kinds of ecologies, and tie that representation into knowledge about, essentially giving these ecologies some kind of intelligence, some kind of ability to integrate in a proactive way with the human centered world. So, all kinds of rich complexities around it, but the idea of using AI as a kind of intelligence engine that could articulate itself, I guess isn't it, uh, through the model's understanding and awareness and kind of deep, rich knowledge of its inner workings. Of course, the one thing that came up that is fun slash difficult to ponder is who makes the model. So we know models, because they're made by human hand, will have human hands prints all over it. And so how do you get a model to in a rich, deep and way in a rich, deep way that kind of leads into a kind of intelligence for these ecologies in a way that is prioritizes is centered on the needs, wants, desires, dreams, ambitions, fears, and all that of the ecology of the forest. If you follow what I mean. Boy, that was a big ramble. Let's listen to what they say.
The idea being that, yeah, how can we actually translate and understand a whole other language from other beings using AI, appreciating that, as we understand at the moment, AI is being informed by language models which are broad and collect all kinds of insight, like I'm saying. The AI that's embodying a tree could be informed by the scientific literature about trees, but that's still human literature. And we were thinking about how to overcome those human biases so that the AI really is giving you something, an insight, an identity, a persona, which has genuinely novel insights and ideas and things to advocate for to help us do things differently.
And I was starting to even think about, like, does this result in us having this new language that becomes more predominant? Like, do we start adopting tree language versus our current language that we have today? So there's just, so many different directions we can go with that.
Ideas for the magazine or things was that an advertisement inviting people or for a job as a trainer in this new kind of language to help people to use the tools and attachments and things that they're modifying themselves with in order to be able to speak and talk to other creatures.
Well, that's it for the digest of General Seminar Season 5, Episode 1, the 3 p.m. session. Thanks for watching. and or listening. If you want to find out more about General Seminar, sign up on the Near Future Laboratory email list over at nearfuturelaboratory.com. We also have a shop where we sell cool books and tools from the future, like the Workit of Design Fiction, the Manual of Design Fiction, a product catalog from the future, filled with all kinds of normal, ordinary, everyday futures things. And we have a new book called Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the book I found over in some adjacent timeline in which, androids are, well, they're amongst us and about as fearsome as MP3 players and television remote controls. All of these things and more can be found over at shop.nearfuturelaboratory.com. Okay, I'm done. That's it. I'll see you later. I'm Julian, and I'm out.